Welcome, everyone, to Worcester City Schools Wellness Initiative class for November 25th. We'll get started in a few minutes, right about 4:30. So make yourself comfortable, find space for your mat, find space for your body, grab any props that you like, and just settle in. We'll spend a little time together starting soon.
So thanks for hopping on today. We still have another minute. We'll wait for our group to assemble. And if you are here and you could let me know just by dropping a note in the chat, I'd appreciate it. It's just nice to know who's connecting in these classes when we can't be together face to face. So say hello in the chat and also grab a block or something that could serve as a block, kind of as a prop for this class. Well, we're at the 4:30 mark, so let's get started. If you just hopped on and you didn't hear me say, we will use a block for this practice, so grab a block if you have that or something similar, a rolled up blanket or pillow should do the trick. Nothing fancy, but you'll just want something for a little support a little later on in the class. Yeah, say hi in the chat if you're here. Thank you for being here. Let's jump onto our mats. So I'm going to
start facing you, but you can start facing the top of your mat, just as you would in class, and cross your legs, comfortable cross-leg position. And go ahead and sit up tall, maybe rock around on your sits bones, on your hips a little bit so that you find a comfortable place to rest into the support of your pelvis, but also to lengthen up through the spine and through the crown of your head. And once you've wiggled your way into a place where you have full range of your lung capacity as you breathe, and you have full reach of your spine, and the shoulders have completely dropped down away from the ears, then allow the eyes to close too, or just allow the gaze to soften. And just observe. Just take this first moment to come into the space of your practice by seeing what's here and now. This is the beauty of the practice, and it's the challenge of the practice, that we're always arriving with a different set of circumstances. What's great is no matter what we bring to the mat, we come to realize that it's all workable. Even that stuff that didn't fit into the day so well, that stuff that kind of drug us down or held us back or took us away from our purpose, that has meaning on the mat, that has a place here, because we work through all of that. But here now to do yoga, so let's be really conscious about the breath. So as you continue to observe the body, also observe the breath and give it a little bit of purpose, give it a little bit of meaning. Start to breathe a little more deeply, a little more fully. So you cue the body that we're getting ready to do something here. We're priming the insides for whatever comes our way. Something's going to happen. And we're going to take this into an even more purposeful breath, an Anuloma Viloma, where we breathe alternately through the nostrils. So you'll take your right hand and you'll bend your first two fingers, pointer finger and middle finger, in toward your palm. Thumb, ring finger, and pinky still extended as best you can. And take your thumb to your right nostril, drop your elbow and your shoulder down, and lean back into the support of your spine again. So as you close off the right nostril, breathe in through the left. And then close both nostrils momentarily. Breathe out through the right. Stay here on this side. Breathe in through the right. Momentarily close both nostrils. And then breathe out through the left. Keep that right nostril closed. Breathe in through the left. Close. Switch, breathe out through the right. Stay here, breathe in through the right. Close. And breathe out through the left. So that's your pattern. Just keep going a few more rounds at your pace. So you direct it. The inhale is as long as you'd like it to be. The pause between the inhale and the exhale is as long as you'd like it to be. And then the exhale is as complete as you'd like it to be. Never scrapping for breath here. Feeling that it's always available to you. The inhale and the exhale, they're always right there.
Notice how the breath moves in through one side and channels over to the second side. Shoulders relaxed, spine tall. Face and forehead relaxed. We'll finish with an exhalation through the right. So take your time getting there. Don't rush the rounds. Don't skip any steps. But after you exhale through the right, you can just drop the right hand down to the knee and pause for a moment. Breathing through both sides of your nose equally. Feeling both sides of the brain light up with awareness. Feeling that balanced equilibrium state that Anuloma Viloma brings. And then softly blink the eyes open. And I'll mirror you here. So we'll take your right hand out to your right side. Take your left arm up and over your ear. So the right arm can bend, elbow toward the ground, and the left arm can extend up and over. So you're not just extending out of the shoulder, but it's as though your arm, that left arm, was plugged all the way down into your hip, and you're going up away from that hip with that side extension. And then switch, come up and over to the other side. Left hand crawls out, left elbow bends, right arm reaches up and over. So root through your right hip, and then from that right hip, imagine that your arm is connected there and it's stretching up, up, up and over all the way to the fingertips. And come back up through center. And so from facing the front of your mat now, we're just going to take the right knee and extend it back toward the back corner of the mat. Keep it bent. The left leg will go straight. So we come into Janu Shirsasana legs. The sole of the right foot compressed to your left inner thigh. And then turn toward your bent knee, that back corner of your mat. Take your left arm across your body to hold that knee or thigh. And another side bend here. Take the right arm up and over. And as you do, lean back. Try not to round or hunch forward. Take all of that out of the posture by drawing both shoulders back. Lay back into the support of your shoulder blades. Maybe even take your gaze up underneath that right arm toward the sky. And then we'll swoop down. Take your gaze down first to your left leg. And the right arm's going to swing down as you turn toward that left leg. You twist your spine in the opposite direction that we just had it. Lengthen forward, heart toward your toes. And then take a little bow. Again, take the hunch and the round out of it as best you can. Keep lengthening the heart forward. Toes active and spread, so you feel that in every fiber of the muscles of the legs, down into the calves, down into the sole of the foot. Let the arches stretch. Good, and then we're going to sweep around toward the back of the mat again. So turn to your right, plant your hands at the back of the mat, and slide your right knee over behind your right wrist. Now your heel can come close to your pelvis, and crawl this left leg back so you're in pigeon. And then I was kind of pitched forward, so you can hinge your weight back into your hips and kind of bring your spine more upright. And then push the ground away, maybe even using your fingertips, but especially push down through your front knee and your shin, and then your back knee as well. And you can see how my hips are kind of coming up away from the mat. Stay supporting yourself on your fingertips here if you like, or if you're feeling strong and stable in those hips, maybe start to bring your arms up by your ears. So there's a lot of engagement around your hips here. See if you can take any weight out of the low back by really fluffing up the low back with the breath. And then maybe you hinge forward, sweep the arms back by your sides. Keep that lift of the pelvis. Keep the squeeze of the inner thighs toward one another. Inhale, sweep the arms back up. And exhale, hinge the heart forward, arms back. Skip this if it's too much. Keep the fingertips down. One more time. Inhale, sweep the arms up if you're with me. And exhale, take the arms back. Good, so your heart is leaning forward, your spine is long. Crawl your hands out in front of you and settle into that pigeon pose from here. Now you can drop the weight. Keep a little support in the inner thighs, but instead of pressing the ground away, now you can kind of let the body melt toward the floor. And find that balanced breath through right and left hemispheres of your brain and of your body. Giving you a little time to get quiet with yourself. Just another breath or so. We're going to walk back up onto the hands if you came down. Plant your palms shoulder width apart. Tuck your back toes under. And this right leg's going to slide all the way up and back to three-leg dog. Take the crease out of the knee, extend through the back of that leg, all the way up through the back of your heel. Breathe in. And then knee to nose, shoulders over your wrists, breathe out. Breathe in and stretch that right leg up and back, three-leg dog. Breathe out and hug your knee to your nose. Shoulders slide forward, plank position. Inhale, up and back, three-leg dog. This time, look forward. You're gonna hug the knee to the chest just like you were. Create that compression in the belly and then step the right foot forward in between the hands. Stay on the ball of your back foot and maybe widen your stance apart a little bit. And come on up to crescent lunge. Good. So neutral tilt of the pelvis means that tailbone likely has to go down and front hip points have to pull up and back. A little bend in the back knee might help that. When you're ready, arms up by the ears. And then telescope up out of the back of the pelvis. So we're not just projecting the belly forward. We're letting the spine lengthen up out of the back of the pelvis, up, 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 up. And then the heart can lift up to the sky. Let's slowly, maybe to a count of 10, lower down to a low lunge. So 10, 9, bend your back knee. 8, feel your tailbone get heavier. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you land, you'll feel that engagement that it took to go so slowly down to the ground. Don't lose that. Keep that in your inner thighs. Keep that engagement around your hips. And again, stretch up and out of your low back. Heart to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out all the way down into your legs. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe in again. And again, breathe out. No rush to this practice. The magic happens in these moments where we stay, where we connect more deeply. This exhale, let's bring the hands to the floor. Lift the back knee, three-leg dog again. Right leg goes all the way up and back. Knee to nose, shoulders over your wrists, just like we did before. Exhale. Inhale, extend, right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. This time we're going back to that pigeon leg. So right knee behind your right wrist, heel toward the pelvis. Walk your hips back, inch that left foot back and sit up tall. We're just here for an elongated spine, a lifted heart, and a full breath. And then you're gonna roll your weight into your outer right hip, turn around, to face the front of your mat again. Extend your right leg out to meet the left so that you come into Dandasana, staff pose. Hands down on the floor alongside your hips and just feel the difference between the two sides of the body. Balance isn't always about doing the exact same thing on both sides, because the right side might need it more than the left side, or the left side might be stiffer than the right side, whatever it is. Just notice where you've landed after that sequence on one side. And then put a little bend in your knees, slide your hips forward and roll yourself down onto your back. Right away, legs come up to the sky. Hands go behind your head, elbows out wide. Send your right leg forward, scissoring it down toward the ground, any amount. It doesn't have to go far if that tugs on your low back. And then do a little crunch from the center of your heart. Lift your heart up towards your toes. And then just a little ½ inch lower down and switch. Scissor the legs, right leg up, left leg out. And then punch the heart up toward the toes. And we'll move like this, very slowly, very mindfully. Switch and crunch. Switch and crunch. So it's that lift of the heart, so the head and the neck stay neutral. And you push the belly button down toward the spine and let the heart kind of teeter-totter, seesaw up as the belly button goes down, heart lifts up toward the toes. Every time you switch legs, you get that little lift at the top. Maybe a little exhale to help press the belly flat. One more each side. Good. And then embrace that heat. Hug the knees into your chest and feel that warmth hug your body. Maybe hold behind the knees so you can start to propel the legs forward and back like you're swinging. Massage up and down the spine a few times, and then we'll come back to that cross-legged seated position facing the front of the mat. Wiggle into the support of your sits bones again, and make sure the spine is nice and straight. We'll take the hands behind the head, similar to what we just did on the floor, elbows out wide. Just very lightly graze the back of your head with your fingertips. And this time, to balance out the breath on the two sides, we'll do an inhale to the left and an exhale to the right. So you're rotating just around your waistline. The hips are mostly steady. The rib cage turns with the shoulders. So notice if it feels like the shoulders are tugging or pulling. See if you can move that work further down into the waistline, to that space just below the lowest ribs. And then really engage the breath with it. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale center, and then switch. We'll inhale to the right and exhale to the left. So it's easy for the shoulders to start to crease up, to start to inch up toward the ears. It takes effort to release that tension. So see if you can let that go. Inhale back to center and release the arms, hands down to the knees. And again, we'll take a moment to pause.
Just as we did after that first breathing exercise. Just as we do between a lot of postures, to feel. Pause to feel. And for me, these pauses have been filled lately, especially with a lot of thought. See if every time we pause today, you can practice, just practice taking the thought out of it and just feel. We'll start to draw the left knee toward the back corner of the mat, turning to the left and extending the right leg out. So Janu Shirsasana on the other side. Sole of the left foot can connect with the right inner thigh. And then you'll turn toward your knee, hold the top of that knee with your right arm, and then take your left arm up and over, and it's kind of side diving over that lengthened leg. And you'll notice to help with the twist, you can really pull with that right arm, and that'll help to rotate the right ribs around and the left ribs back. If it's okay for your neck, keep it long on all sides, but turn your gaze up to the sky. And then let's swoop over the straight leg. So let this left arm reach out, maybe even to the right side, the pinky toe side of those toes. Lift your heart, lengthen forward, and then release down into that fold. So the pivoting starts in the lumbar spine, in the low back, just above the crest of the back of the pelvis. You start to feel that turn of the belly button toward the right thigh. And then from the belly button, lengthen up to the heart, and from the heart, lengthen up to the throat, and from the throat, lengthen up to the eyes, and from the eyes, lengthen up to the crown of the head. And then everything starts to unfurl and untangle. Swoop around toward the back of the mat now, taking your arms around, planting the palms, and then slide this left knee over behind your left wrist. Reposition your back leg so that that right hip is drawing forward toward the back of your wrist instead of popped out to the side. And then walk your hands back. Push down into your legs so much that maybe you don't need your hands. But if you do, perfectly fine. Keep the hands on the ground for support. If the arms can come up because the legs are super active, then reach the arms up by your ears. But again, if you immediately feel that in your low back, no need to push it. Keep your hands down and work that fullness around the kidney region with your breath. If you can still feel full and lifted out of your low back with your arms up, reach up and stretch, and then hinge forward, sweep your arms back by your sides. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, float back. Inhale, up. And exhale, float back. Pause here. Notice how you can really charge the heart forward, how you can really lean forward over your front shin. And then take the hands out, pat out the palms, maybe walk out onto the elbows. And there's a little decompression, a little release there. Letting out that lift of the hips so you can settle into the pigeon pose. And this is your pause. These moments count too. Perhaps these moments count even more than the moments where we're working, where we're striving, where we're going. In these moments is where I find this prime, fertile training ground for my mind. I can choose to engage in the thoughts that pop up and then that's just practicing letting my mind be busy. And I need to practice letting my mind be still. Be generous with your breath. Be gentle as you nudge deeper into the stretch by letting go. Allow the moment to become full just with what's here, with breath, with stillness, with sensation. Start to come back up onto the hands. Take a moment to lift up out of the hips again. And then with palms planted, tuck your back toes and fly your left leg up and back, three-leg dog. And take a moment to reach through your heel, spread through your toes. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, take your knee to your nose, your shoulders over your wrists, compress the belly. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-leg dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Look forward and step that left foot forward in between your hands. Widen your feet apart a smidge maybe. Look forward, and when you're ready, come on up, crescent lunge. So that left hip might already be feeling some heat from the pigeon and from the three-leg dog. So use full strength of the legs by feeling the feet engage with the floor, putting a little bend in your back knee, neutralizing the pelvis. Send energy down through the legs from there, and then hug energy back up through the inner thighs. Arms up by the ears. Lift up out of your low back, and let the heart float up toward the hands. And to a slow count of 10, we're going to release to the ground. So it takes every ounce of strength in the inner thighs to keep you steady. Fix your gaze, and here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, tailbone lengthens down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back knee touches down, and feel that engagement when you land. Keep that. Keep that for a moment longer as you lift up out of your low back and curl your heart toward the sky. Now let that breath move in. Let it fill up the lungs. Good. Last inhale. And we'll take the hands down. Pop the back knee up. Scoop the left leg up and back. Three-leg dog as you breathe in. Knee to nose as you breathe out. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. To pigeon this time, left knee behind the left wrist. And we'll lean the weight onto the outer left hip. Rotate all the way back around. Extend the left leg forward to Dandasana. Wiggle your sits bones apart. So feel the bones at the base of the body here. Widen them apart and kind of tuck them back. And then plant the palms down on either side of those hips and lift the spine up tall. Upper arm bones peel toward the back plane of the body.
Bend the knees. Slide the hips toward the heels so you can come to lie down on your back again. Legs go up in the air. Hands go behind the head. We'll do something similar, but not exactly the same as we did before. So let's lower the left leg down to a hover. And let's lift the chest up, elbows out wide, head stays back in the support of the hands. And then just little teeny tiny pulses with the heart up toward the toes. Just keeping the legs oriented this way. And again, maybe you're here, just so there's a little asymmetry between the two sides. Try to relax the front of the throat. Beautiful. Bring the left leg up, take the right leg out, and pulse. Heart toward your toes. Sides of the waist pull in toward the belly button and down through the tunnel of the belly button. And then we bend the knees into the chest. Let that warmth flush over the body. We'll rock and roll on the spine. When you're ready, pump the legs, rock up to the hips, rock back to the shoulder blades. Let's take it all the way up and over our feet. You can cross your ankles or swing your legs out to the side and meet in a plank position. Step the feet back. Situate the hands right underneath the shoulders. Dig down through the pads of your fingers. And let your upper arm bones draw away from your ears. So from a plank or from a knee plank, take a big breath in. Keep the belly lifted as you lower down to the floor. Cobra pose, inhale, peel the shoulders back, send the heart forward. And exhale, roll back down onto the belly. So pause and rest for a moment. We're gonna do some rolling cobras, synchronized with the breath. So we'll inhale up for a count of 4, and we'll exhale down for a count of 8. Keep the navel connected with the spine the whole time. Start with emptying out the breath. And then inhale, rise up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly, release down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Lengthen through the back of the neck. 1. Inhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the back of the neck long. Extend forward as you lower down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make a pillow with your palms and turn your left cheek down. So you're laying on your left cheek. And I want you to visualize and just practice breathing through the right side predominantly. So through that right nostril, really focus the breath there through the right side. Right sinuses, right side of the brain, right side of the body. Feel it move across the right side of the chest. And just normal breaths, long, deep breathing here. And then switch. Turn your right cheek down, right ear down. And let the breath predominantly move through the left side. Through the left nostrils, left sinus cavities. Through the left side of the throat, the left lung. And then bring your chin to your hands. Come back through center. Hands will come underneath the shoulders alongside the chest. You can push up to plank or push up to all fours. And head back to downward facing dog. Head hangs between the arms. Rotate the upper arm bones outward so that the triceps, the backs of the arms, rotate out and back. And then start to walk your hands back toward your feet at the back of the mat. Put a bend in your knees as you go. So you come into a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Sweep your hands behind your back once you've got all that weight in your feet. And interlace your fingers. Stretch your arms up, hands away from your back body. Keep hugging your elbows toward one another behind you. Relax your head and neck. Great. Let this be a wringing out, a washing out of the density around the shoulder heads. Rock the weight forward into the balls of the feet just a bit more. So you feel the hips come up a little bit higher, and see if you can reach the arms up over the back of the head a little further. We're going to keep the bind of the hands. Start to peel the chest up away from the thighs. Bend the knees a little bit more and send your hips back. So you've got a long spine. And slowly start to hinge the body upright. Hands stay clasped behind you. Chest lifts up as the knuckles drag down. Pull the shoulders down away from your ears. Breathe in. And breathe out. And release the arms out and lift up. And as you exhale, bring the hands behind your head. Support the back of your head with your fingertips, like we've done a couple times already. And drop the tailbone really heavily toward the back of the heels. So we did some twisting with the breath before. Here we're going to side bend. Let's inhale up through center, get really tall. And as you exhale, dip your left elbow down to the left. Right elbow, reach it up to the sky. Inhale back up to center. And then we'll go to the other side. Right elbow down, left elbow up. Inhale, center. Steady your weight between your 2 feet. Left elbow down as you exhale. Inhale, up. Right elbow down as you exhale. Keep going side to side. And try to keep the head in line with the heart. So that the neck isn't kind of loose and flopping, but everything is collected on that axis of the spine. Navel drawn in, front ribs drawn in. Elbows out wide. One more time each side. And back up to center. Let's reach the arms up. Look up between the palms, full body extension. And exhale, bring your hands down in front of your heart. Shift your weight into your left leg. Draw your right knee up into your chest. You can hold that right knee with your right hand or take peace fingers and wrap them around the right big toe. Drop your outer right hip down. Hug your inner right thigh in toward midline. And if you've got the toe and you want to extend the leg from here, try not to let that side of the body pull forward and the spine to kind of round. Keep the right shoulder drawn back, right hip drawn back, and keep length there. Let's take the right leg out to the side. Just like a door hinging open. Maybe it's just the knee out to the side. If you're still holding the knee, stand up tall through the left side of the body either way. And then we'll switch. Left hand grabs the knee or grabs the pinky toe edge of the foot. And the right arm and the chest start to spin open so the legs stay put and you turn from your waist. Again, drop your outer right hip down. Hug your inner thighs toward one another and feel that lift of energy in the center of the body from the pelvic floor all the way up through the spine. Good. We'll take the twist out of it, come back to center, maybe hold the leg in the air or hug the knee to the chest, lift up. And standing split from here, slide that right leg up and back as you gently reach your fingertips toward the floor. Lengthen out your spine and bow down over the left leg. Keep the right leg lifted. Walk your hands forward on the mat, coming into three-leg plank. Shoulders come over the wrists. And then right leg's going to kick underneath the body out to the side. Maybe it floats, maybe you land it, and left arm comes up in the air. So we've got a side plank variation, a fallen triangle. From the center of your heart, turn. Maybe look up into the left palm. Beautiful. Left hand comes back down, right leg goes to the sky. Three-leg dog. We've been here before. Reach it up and back. And then just one step forward in between the hands. Right foot comes through. Spin your back heel down. Take your right forearm to your front thigh and peel the left side body open just like that side plank where you turn from the center of your heart. So instead of just flailing the arm back, the core of the body is turning. Take this top arm and flip the palm to face back behind you. Bend the elbow and seek out a half bind, just sliding that forearm behind your back. Maybe catching hold of your right inner thigh or hip if you can. And then you can kind of pull that right hip back, find more space, more length in the right side waist, and reach that right arm out. Straighten the front leg and reverse triangle. Come all the way up and back with your half bind. And then keep the half bind, keep the legs straight, triangle pose. Right arm extending forward. So again, the arm, imagine it's connected all the way into this right hip socket. And from the right hip, extend out through the side ribs, all the way into that upturned palm. Lengthen your tailbone toward your left heel at the back of your mat. And then release right into warrior two. Bend your front knee. Let that left arm slide free. Gaze over your front fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, take your hands down. Step back to plank. 2 feet back of the mat, 2 hands top of the mat. Whole body lengthening. Lower down, chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog. Legs strong in either pose. And downward facing dog. Send the hips high. Feeling, not thought. Walk your hands back toward your toes. Little bend in your knees as you go. If you like that variation that felt good on the shoulders, you can take the hands behind the back again and find that release in the shoulders. Otherwise, maybe take another variation this time, touching hold of the backs of the legs, pulling the upper body down into your forward fold. Feel your inner thighs spiral back. You can even take this variation. Grab your the back of your legs, fingertips toward your inner thighs, and kind of widen your inner thighs, kind of spiral the inner thighs back, or widen the thighs apart. Open up the low back to release down. Put a little bend in your knees, send your heart forward, like a little halfway lift, a flat back. Draw the front ribs and belly in. And come up to stand from there. Inhale, the arms rise. And exhale, hands heart center. Shift your weight into your right leg. Draw your left knee up into your chest. And start there, right? Don't move on to the next step if this one hasn't been sorted out yet. You want to reach for the left big toe, go to the inside of your knee, grab that big toe with your peace fingers, and then hug to midline. So really squeeze that left inner thigh in toward midline. Drop your outer left hip down. And if you'd like to extend that leg, do so by keeping your torso, keeping the core of the body standing tall, drawn back, rather than rounding forward. And then start to swing that leg out to the side, knee or leg, without letting the body pivot. So just working from the hip joint there. Feeling that lateral extension. And then we switch. Legs come back through center and the upper body will twist here. So right hand to the outside of the left knee or foot. Left arm, reach it back. As we unwind the spine, look forward. Float the leg or the knee in front of the chest. Grow taller up through the crown of the head and take all of this length up and over into your standing split. Left leg stays lifted. Keep it strong and straight as you walk the hands forward to three-leg plank. Then once you come into plank position, left leg can cut under the body and kick out to the side, float it or land it, your fallen triangle. And turn the center of your chest up toward the sky. And then right hand down, slide that left leg back through, three-leg dog. Knee comes toward your nose, hug in at your belly button and step left foot forward in between the hands. Spin your back heel down. And come into extended side angle. Left elbow on that front thigh and turn the chest open to the side. Right arm straight up over the body. Right palm flips behind you, right elbow bends. Weave the forearm behind the low back, maybe the hand to the left hip. And then this left arm can start to slide forward. And so we take any compression out of the left ribs by lengthening the left side body. Straighten the front leg as you come up and back with your half bind, reverse triangle. And then triangle pose, all that space you created on the left side stays there as you reach forward. A very grand and generous offering with this left palm turned up and your heart turned up. It's warrior two from here. Bend your front knee, release your right arm, gaze over your front fingertips. Breath moves in. And as you exhale, take your hands to the floor. Step your left foot back to meet the right. Inhale in your plank. Exhale as you lower chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. To downward facing dog. Lower down onto your knees and swing your legs out in front of you. So here's where we'll use that block or blanket or pillow, whatever you have handy, just for these last few minutes of class together. We're going to take all of that chest opening and use it for some supported poses. First, supported bridge. So walk your heels in right in front of your hips. Make sure those thigh bones aren't splaying out to the sides. The knees are pointing straight up. Rest the roundest part of the back of your head into the mat. And then lift the hips up and slide that block at any height that you like underneath your hips. Keep the gaze right up toward the ceiling. And then notice where there are little knots that you can start to untie. Where there are little spots in the body that you can start to untangle. Instead of kind of a jumble of feeling and thought and confusion. The breath kind of pulls everything out into this one long golden thread. You can keep your feet on the floor if you like. You can extend the legs up toward the sky if you're balanced there on a steady, sturdy block or pillow. You don't need to fill this space, this time, with anything in particular. It's not better to tick off your to-do list right now, even though it might seem like that. What you need right here is just this. That's why you're here. That's why this is being offered. That's why we're co-creating this together. All that other stuff will have its space and have its time. This It's just this. The legs came up in the air. Go ahead and bend the knees. Bring the feet down. If it would feel nice to stretch out over the block for a moment, you can lengthen the legs forward with the hips elevated. Feel the outer edges of the shoulders kind of turn and curl into the ground so the heart moves up a little bit more. Then lift your chin away from your throat and your chest slightly. And then as you're ready to come off of the block, we'll return the feet underneath the knees, lift the hips up off of the block. We come to bring the back of the pelvis to the mat again. Feet hips width apart, or maybe even mats width apart. Arms stretch out wide, drop your knees to the left. And for a little bit more, take this left ankle up and over the right thigh, just hook it over top of there. And let that weight help to guide that right thigh bone forward. To encourage the release in the right hip. If you cross the legs, undo the crossing, bring the feet back to the floor and switch the knees to the other side, over to the right. Right ankle crosses to the left knee. That right ankle is just a friend. It's like holding out a hand to assist that left thigh bone slightly forward, slightly away from your body toward the top of your mat. As the legs cross, undo that crossing. Bring the knees back through center and feel for the back of the pelvis. Put the sacrum down on the mat. Knees can knock in toward one another here if that's restful for you, or you can extend the legs out if that feels better. And today, let's come back into our own skin by putting right hand on belly, left hand on heart as we rest. Sometimes for me, the best way to come out of that tangle of thoughts is to come back into my body, to connect with what I can see and feel, what's right here. And I know that what I can see and feel isn't all that's there. It's one aspect. One aspect of a whole prism of what is me. But it starts with just this. And that opens up the doorway to all the rest. To the rainbow of color that streams from the prism. It starts with just this.
Keep coming back to the placement of the hands on the body, to the way the breath feels in the body. Keep dropping down into the heart, into the belly, out of the head. Feel both sides of the nostrils draw in a long, deep, and rich breath. And let the fog out through the mouth. Just observe as you reawaken the body in really subtle ways. Watch what happens when you move fingers. Try not to skip a step. Watch what happens when you move toes. When you start to rotate your joints. And when you start to reach and stretch and expand the body once again. And curl over onto one side. And come up to sit. Come into the seat of your heart. And from that really cushioned, really beautiful, really vibrant place, we'll step forward into a holiday of gratitude. We'll step back into the routine or the disarray of life, whatever it may be. But we'll step forward from that place of the heart. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have any questions, email me, shoot me a note. Take care. Bye.